The sun has already begun to sink behind the distant hills. Its light spills softly across the rooftops, turning everything golden and warm. Shadows stretch lazily across the streets, bending over sidewalks, park benches, and tiny gardens. The air is calm, scented faintly with flowers, fresh grass, and the last warmth of the day. High above the city, the three little superheroes drift quietly. Blossom, her pink bow glowing faintly in the evening light, leads with careful, gentle movements. Bubbles floats beside her, swinging slightly as her pigtails sway in the soft breeze. Buttercup brings up the rear, her usually tough gaze softened by the slow, dreamy glow of sunset. No alarms today. No villains to chase. Only peace. The streets below are filled with soft life. Families walking home hand in hand, the bakery owner leaning on his doorway with a tired, content smile, a dog curling up on a porch for its nightly nap. Even the lamplights flicker in soft harmony, glowing as if they are breathing with the city. The girls drift lower, moving over Townsville Park. The pond mirrors the colors of the sky, a gentle swirl of pink and orange melding into pale gold. A few ducks glide across the water, tiny ripples following them like soft waves. The grass bends slowly with the breeze, whispering a lullaby that only those paying close attention can hear. Bubbles giggle softly, her laughter a tiny sprinkle of sound in the quiet night. "It's like the world is yawning," she whispers. Blossom smiles, nodding gently. Yes, everything feels ready to rest. Buttercup watches a swing sway slowly in the empty playground. No one's around. It's nice and calm, she murmurs, a soft hint of a smile tugging at her lips. Even her tough exterior melts slightly in the softness of the evening. The girls land on a patch of soft grass, the blades brushing lightly against their legs. They lie back for a moment, letting the coolness of the ground and the fading warmth of sunlight wrap them like a gentle hug. The sky above shifts slowly, stars beginning to twinkle faintly. Bubbles points at one sparkling above the park. "Look, that one's blinking at me," she whispers. Blossom chuckles quietly. It's saying goodnight. Buttercup pretends to roll her eyes, but her voice is soft. Yeah, like stars go to sleep. They sit together in the hush, letting the quiet surround them. Nothing needs fixing. Nothing needs solving. Just the warmth of each other, the soft rustle of leaves, and the sleepy glow of the city below. After a long moment, Blossom stretches slowly. The kind of stretch that releases every little tension from the day. "Let's head home," she whispers. Bubbles lets out a tiny, sleepy squeak. Buttercup nudges her lightly, both of them rising into the sky with Blossom. They fly slowly, gently, letting the cool night air brush their cheeks. Fireflies flicker in the grass below like tiny lanterns waving them goodbye. Townsville glows softly beneath them. Streetlights shimmer. Windows catch the last golden hints of daylight. The library, the bakery, the little playground. Everything is calm, safe, and soft. Soon they reach home. The warm yellow light spills from the windows, welcoming them like a cozy blanket. Bubbles sighs happily. I love coming home at night. Blossom smiles. It feels safe. Buttercup nods once. It feels nice. They land quietly on the porch, the air soft and still around them. Blossom turns the doorknob slowly, the warm glow spilling over them, wrapping them in gentle comfort. Inside, the smell of the professor's evening tea lingers. The soft hum of the house settles around them like a lullaby. And the first part of their peaceful night comes to a close full of warmth, safety, and the calm glow of a city ready to rest. The sky has deepened into soft purples and blues now, a gentle velvet stretching over Townsville. The city streets are quieter, slower. Even the distant hum of cars seems softened, like a lullaby in the background. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup float above the rooftops, capes swaying lazily in the gentle evening breeze. Tonight there is no rush, no danger, no villains to chase. Instead, the girls have a different mission, a mission of kindness. Gentle, low-stakes acts that leave hearts warm, home safer, and the city a little softer. Blossom glances at her sisters with a soft smile. "Let's see who we can help tonight," she whispers, letting her voice drift slowly through the calm air. Bubbles' eyes sparkle, a soft giggle escaping her lips. "Kindness, superheroes," she murmurs. Her excitement is quiet, gentle, not loud, just enough to make the evening feel warmer. Buttercup brings up the rear, her usual tough expression softened by the peaceful twilight. "All right, let's make the city feel cozy," she says, her voice low and calm. Their first gentle mission appears below a tiny, trembling kitten on a low rooftop, mewing softly into the quiet night. Bubbles drifts closer first, holding out her hands like a soft, protective cradle. "Don't worry, little one," she whispers. The kitten's tiny ears flick, then it freezes, sensing the calm safety of the girl above. Blossom floats beside Bubbles, her fingers reaching out with slow, deliberate care. She lifts the kitten gently, wrapping it in the warmth of her pink cape. Buttercup hovers nearby, brushing her hand softly along the kitten's back, careful not to startle it. The little creature purrs, the sound small and delicate, like a heartbeat of contentment. Together, the girls glide down to a quiet patch of grass below, soft and safe, where the kitten can rest or explore gently. Bubbles kneels, whispering soft encouragements. Blossom smiles warmly, and Buttercup nods, her voice soft. "Good. Nice and safe." After the kitten is settled, the girls drift higher above the streets, their attention turning to the next act of kindness. In a narrow lane, an elderly woman is carrying grocery bags slowly and carefully. Her steps are measured, her back a little tired from a long day. Bubbles flutters beside her, taking one of the lighter bags into her small hands. "There, I've got it," she whispers softly. The woman's eyes widen, then soften into a gentle smile. "Thank you, dear," she murmurs. Blossom glides down to steady the woman, her hands warm and calm, her voice gentle. Buttercup floats behind, carrying the remaining bag carefully, making sure nothing spills. Together they guide the woman safely to her doorstep. Each step is slow, careful, peaceful. The city feels softer, lighter with every small gesture. Once the woman is inside, she waves softly at the girls. "Thank you for making my evening easier," she whispers. Bubbles giggles lightly. "It feels nice to help." Blossom nods. Kindness makes the world calmer. Buttercup adds quietly, "Yeah, and softer." Their final kindness mission tonight drifts toward the city park. There, a pair of baby ducks wander away from the pond, tiny quacks floating in the evening air. The mother duck waits patiently, her eyes calm but concerned. Buttercup swoops down first, lowering herself to the soft grass. "Don't worry, little guys," she murmurs, her tone gentle and warm. Blossom hovers beside her, guiding the ducklings slowly and carefully toward the pond. Bubbles floats above, watching, hands softly glowing as if to gently steer the tiny creatures. The ducks make their way to the water, waddling in the grass with soft, small steps. The mother quacks once, softly, welcoming them. The little ripples in the pond shimmer in the evening light, reflecting the stars that have begun to twinkle above. Bubbles claps softly, whispering, "They're safe now." Blossom smiles at the calm pond. Buttercup nods, her usual energy replaced by quiet contentment. "Even small things can make a difference," she whispers. The girls rise above the park again, floating slowly and effortlessly in the calm, starlit night. Townsville glows below them, soft, safe, and peaceful. Every act of kindness seems to ripple through the streets, making the city a little warmer, a little more gentle. Bubbles stretches her arms, yawning softly. "I think we did enough good tonight," she murmurs. Blossom floats slightly higher, looking down at the calm city. "Yes, we made tonight soft and calm," she says. Buttercup gives a tiny smile, letting her shoulders relax. "And now we can rest," she whispers. The girls drift slowly toward home, the wind brushing softly against their faces, their hearts full and peaceful. The city below hums quietly and everything feels right, safe and warm. And as they land back inside their cozy home, the warmth of their beds, blankets, and each other waits, ready to carry them into the calm of sleep, dreaming of gentle acts that make the world brighter. The girls float gently down from the quiet streets of Townsville, carrying the soft satisfaction of their evening kindness missions. The air is cool and still, brushing softly against their cheeks as they glide toward home. Blossom lands first, her pink pajamas catching the faint golden glow of the streetlight outside their doorstep. Bubbles follows, her tiny cloud-patterned pajamas fluttering softly. Buttercup hovers just above, settling lightly onto the porch. Their capes fall slowly behind them, brushing gently against the wood of the porch with a faint whisper. The front door opens with a soft creak, and the warm, familiar glow of the Utonium home spills out. A soft scent of chamomile tea drifts through the air, mingling with the subtle smell of home-warm wood, books, and comfort. "Home," Bubbles whispers, a sleepy little smile tugging at her lips. Buttercup sighs softly, stretching her arms lazily. Blossom nods, feeling the warmth and calm of the house around her. The girls step inside slowly, careful not to disturb the gentle hush of the evening. The soft carpet under their feet cushions each step. The house is quiet, cozy, and safe. Even the familiar ticking of the clock seems slower, as if it, too, is resting. The professor appears from the kitchen, a gentle smile on his face. "Welcome home, girls," he says softly, his voice low and warm. Blossom nods politely, moving toward the living room. Bubbles giggles sleepily, wrapping her arms around the professor in a soft Buttercup follows behind, pretending she isn't tired, but her shoulders slump slightly in relief. The living room is bathed in a gentle amber glow, soft enough to be calming, but bright enough to guide sleepy eyes. Blossom reaches for a folded blanket on the couch and spreads it carefully. Bubbles hops beside her, wrapping her small frame in the warmth immediately. Buttercup flops down with a quiet sigh, the cushions embracing her like a gentle hug. The professor enters with 3 small mugs, steam curling from the top gentle chamomile tea, warm and soothing. He hands one to each girl. Blossom holds hers carefully, inhaling the faint aroma. "Thank you," she whispers softly. Bubbles sips slowly, eyes closing halfway. "It tastes like hugs," she murmurs. Buttercup holds hers close, letting the warmth seep into her hands and chest, though her face stays cool and calm. They sit in quiet for a few minutes, The only sounds, the soft clink of mugs and the faint hum of the evening. The house feels alive with comfort, yet calm. Every breath, every movement is slow, soft, and intentional. Once the tea is finished, the girls stretch lazily. Blossom whispers, "Maybe we should get into our pajamas before we get too sleepy." Bubbles pretends she's too tired to walk, giggling as Blossom takes her hand. Buttercup nudges her gently, a soft smile tugging at her lips. All right, let's go." Up the stairs they float, moving slower than usual, letting the evening lull them into a soft, dreamy pace. Their bedroom is bathed in a gentle glow from tiny star-shaped nightlights. The warmth of the room wraps around them, welcoming them home. Blossom folds her clothes neatly and slips into her pink pajamas, smoothing her bow. Bubbles spins gently in her blue cloud-patterned pajamas, hugging herself. Buttercup stretches into her green pajamas, letting her body relax fully into the comfort of her room. The girls pause for a moment in front of the mirror, seeing three sleepy sisters glowing softly in the dim light. Blossom brushes her hair slowly, Bubbles hums a tiny tune as she combs hers, and Buttercup gives her hair a half-hearted brush before letting it rest. Finally, they drift back to the living room, blankets in hand. The professor is seated nearby, smiling softly, his presence calm and steady. "Just relax, girls, and let the night slow you down," he whispers. Blossom leans into the couch. Bubbles curls up in the middle, and Buttercup stretches comfortably on the other side. Blankets cover them all, the warmth and softness wrapping around their bodies like a gentle hug. The air is still. The lights glow softly. Their breaths become steady, slow, rhythmic. The gentle calm of the night grows deeper. And as the house settles around them, their sleepy minds float in soft anticipation of dreams. Blossom leans her head gently against the pillow, eyes half closed, her pink pajamas soft against the couch cushions. Bubbles curls up beside her, hugging her cloud-patterned blanket tightly, letting her tiny hums drift like soft whispers into the room. Buttercup stretches her arms over her head and lets the couch cradle her, her green pajamas loose and warm, softening her usual strong posture into gentle comfort. The professor sits quietly nearby, observing with a smile. He doesn't speak. He knows the moment is already filled with warmth, peace, and calm. Outside, the faint rustle of leaves brushes the windows, a gentle rhythm that blends with the slow, steady breathing of the girls. A soft breeze carries the cool night air, mixing with the warmth inside to create a perfect cocoon of comfort. Bubbles sighs softly, her tiny voice drifting lazily. "I like this, quiet and slow." Blossom nods slightly, a soft smile tugging at her lips. Yes, it feels safe, calm. Buttercup lets out the faintest murmur. Soft, really soft. The girls settle deeper into their blankets. The lavender sachets Blossom placed nearby release their soothing scent, curling lazily through the room like invisible ribbons of calm. Every inhale is gentle, soft, carrying a warmth that seems to sink into their very bones. Blossom tilts her head, resting it fully on the pillow. Her eyes drift closed for a moment, then flutter open again as though savoring the calm. "I think we should just rest for a little while," she whispers. Bubbles lets out a tiny yawn, curling further into her blanket. "But can we just stay like this forever?" Buttercup pretends to grumble, but can't hide the softness in her voice. "Yeah, forever soft. Why not?" For several long minutes, no one speaks. Even the house seems to hush around them, holding its breath as if to not disturb the peace. Blossom lifts her lavender pouch, inhaling the faint scent again. It smells like calm clouds, she murmurs softly. Bubbles hugs hers closer, letting the scent drift across her cheeks. Buttercup lays hers beside her, the subtle fragrance brushing her sleep-softened senses. The girls drift into small movements. Blossom tucks her legs under the blanket, curling just slightly. Bubbles sways her body gently, letting the couch rock her softly. Buttercup stretches her arms lazily above her head, then folds them across her chest, sinking deeper into the cushions. The house is warm. The lights are soft. The air is heavy with calm and stillness. The professor rises quietly and walks to the bookshelf, his steps light against the floor. He pulls out a thin book with a soft blue cover, silver moons printed delicately across it. He returns to his chair, opening the book slowly. "Shall I read a little story?" he whispers. Bubbles perks up slightly, her eyes half-lidded but sparkling. "Yeah, please," she murmurs softly. Blossom nods. Buttercup gives a tiny, quiet grunt that sounds like agreement. The professor begins to read, his voice low and steady, drifting slowly through the room. He tells of a quiet village where the stars twinkle gently and the wind hums lullabies through the tall grass. The girls listen, letting the soft words float through their minds like feathers carried on a gentle breeze. Blossom's breathing grows slower, steadier. Bubbles hums lightly under her breath, a soft echo of the professor's voice. Buttercup's shoulders relax, her chest rising and falling in perfect rhythm with the calm words. The story moves slowly, taking them on a gentle journey through a calm, dreamlike place. Each word is soft, deliberate, unhurried, leaving a sense of safety and comfort around them. The evening in Townsville has softened completely now, the sky a gentle swirl of deep purples and blues. The city hums quietly, each street lamp casting a warm, sleepy glow over the empty sidewalks. Inside the Utonium home, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are gathered in their bedroom. The room is softly lit by star-shaped nightlights and the gentle glow of the moon spilling through the window. Blankets are draped over the edge of the beds, pillows are fluffed, and a quiet sense of warmth fills the air. Blossom sits cross-legged on her bed, brushing her hair slowly, the soft strokes calming her mind. Bubbles is curled up beside her, hugging a plush octopus, her small hums floating lazily through the room. Buttercup lies stretched out on the other bed, one arm draped over her forehead, a tiny smile tugging at her lips. The three sisters share a quiet moment, watching the gentle shimmer of light across the walls. Blossom whispers softly, "Remember when we tried to make a rainbow in the kitchen?" Bubbles giggles lightly, the sound like a soft bell. "Oh yes, it was all sticky and messy, but it was so fun." Buttercup rolls slightly on her side, the blankets rustling softly beneath her. "I thought it would never work. But then we got all the colors mixing. It was actually kind of beautiful," she says, her voice slow and calm. Blossom smiles, her eyes soft. "It's nice, sharing moments like that, even silly ones." Bubbles hugs her plush octopus tighter. "And even the silly ones feel warm in your heart," she whispers. The girls settle a little closer to each other, blankets overlapping, the warmth spreading slowly through the room. They lie back against the pillows, letting their heads rest lightly, drifting in the soft glow and quiet hum of the night. Blossom reaches for Bubbles' hand gently. Do you remember the first time we watched the fireflies in the park? Bubbles' eyes flutter as she recalls the memory. Yes, we chased them and laughed. And you got a little muddy, she whispers with a tiny giggle. Buttercup stretches her legs under the blanket, smiling softly. I liked that night. It felt like the whole world was soft and quiet and we were together. The three sisters closed their eyes for a moment, letting the calmness sink deeper. Their breathing slows, rising and falling in a gentle, soothing rhythm. Blossom murmurs, "It's nice, having each other, quiet, safe and calm." Bubbles nods lightly, a small yawn escaping. Yeah, cozy. Buttercup lets herself sink further into the bed, hugging her pillow. Cozy, warm, just us. For several long, slow moments, they stay like this, letting the quiet of the room, the soft glow of the nightlights, and the comfort of each other's presence wrap around them. The air feels heavier with warmth and calm. The faint lavender scent from the sachets curls slowly through the room, wrapping every corner in gentle softness. Even the moonlight seems to pause, bathing them in a soft silver glow. The sisters share tiny, quiet smiles, glancing at each other, feeling the connection that doesn't need words. No rush, no noise, just the soft pulse of warmth and love. Blossom stretches her arms slightly above her head, letting the blankets rise and fall gently with her slow, steady breaths. Bubbles hums quietly, a soft melody that drifts into the room like a warm breeze. Buttercup lets out a sleepy sigh, her chest rising and falling in time with her sisters. And as the quiet deepens, the gentle, warm feeling of being together, of sisterly love, cozy friendship, and shared memories begins to settle over them like a soft, comforting blanket. The night holds them, the warmth holds them, and their hearts are full, soft, safe, and calm. And tonight, they are ready to drift slowly, gently, and peacefully into dreams wrapped in the comfort of each other. The room is still and soft, bathed in the gentle glow of the star-shaped nightlights. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup lie wrapped in blankets, the warmth of their beds and the quiet of the evening settling deeply around them. Blossom rests her head lightly on a pillow, her eyes half closed, a soft smile playing across her lips. Bubbles snuggles closer, hugging her octopus plush tightly, letting the small hums of contentment drift from her chest. Buttercup stretches lazily, one arm tucked beneath her pillow, the other resting across her chest, her face soft and relaxed. For a moment, the girls simply listen to the quiet of the house. The gentle ticking of the clock blends with the faint rustle of leaves outside. The lavender scent curls lazily through the room, and the soft glow of the moon spills across the blankets, wrapping them in comfort. Blossom breaks the silence with a whisper. Do you remember the time we made hot cocoa and tried to decorate it with marshmallows? Bubbles giggles softly, her laughter barely a whisper. Yes, we ended up with marshmallow mustaches. Buttercup chuckles quietly, the sound low and relaxed. And chocolate on the walls. I thought we'd never clean it all up, she murmurs, smiling softly. The sisters lean closer to each other, the warmth from their blankets and bodies mingling. Blossom reaches for Bubbles' hand, squeezing gently. It was messy, but it felt happy, she whispers. Bubbles hums softly in her agreement. Warm, cozy, like everything's right in the world, she says. Buttercup stretches her legs under the blankets, letting her arms fall loosely across her chest. Yeah, just us. Quiet, together, she murmurs. The girls close their eyes briefly, letting the gentle memories fill their minds like soft, glowing lights. Each small laugh, each warm hug, each silly adventure floats around them, wrapping them in a cocoon of calm. Blossom shifts slightly, tucking the blankets around herself. I like nights like this, when nothing has to happen. We just exist together, she says softly. Bubbles lets her tiny hands drift over her octopus, tracing the soft fabric slowly. Yeah, and even when we don't talk, it feels nice, she whispers. Buttercup lets out a sleepy sigh, the blanket shifting around her. Comfortable, soft, safe, she murmurs. For several long, slow moments, the three girls simply lie there, listening to the quiet rhythm of each other's breathing, the warmth of their bodies, the softness of the blankets, the gentle glow of the nightlights. All of it mixes into a feeling that is slow, steady, and unhurried. Blossom shifts again, glancing at her sisters. You know, I think the best parts of the day aren't always the big adventures. Sometimes it's just this being together quietly, she whispers. Bubbles hums a soft agreement, her tiny voice like a lullaby. Buttercup nods slowly, a faint smile tugging at her lips. Yeah, cozy, quiet. Perfect, she murmurs. The air in the room feels heavier with warmth, slower with calm. Even the faint rustle of the curtains seems to echo the soft, unhurried rhythm of the girls' hearts. They shift gently and moving closer, letting blankets overlap, sharing the warmth. Tiny giggles drift softly as they recall small jokes from earlier in the day, each laugh slower and softer than the last, fading gently into the calm of the room. The moonlight stretches across the beds, pooling softly over their blankets. Every inhale and exhale aligns with the gentle pulse of the night. And as they lie together, sharing warmth, memories, and soft laughter, the comfort of sisterly love settles over them completely, a quiet blanket around their hearts. The girls' eyes grow heavier, breaths slow, movements soften. The house is calm. The night is calm. And their sleepy hearts, wrapped in warmth and friendship, begin to drift slowly toward the gentle pull of dreams. Soft, cozy, safe. The sisters float together in the quiet glow of their room, ready to drift deeper into sleep. The room is wrapped in quiet now, soft and warm, filled with the gentle glow of star-shaped nightlights and the silvery light of the moon spilling through the window. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup lie side by side, blankets pulled up to their chins, pillows cradling their heads. The lavender scent from the sachets curls lazily through the room, wrapping the air in softness. Blossom rests her head gently on the pillow, her breathing slow, steady, and calm. She glances at her sisters with a small, sleepy smile. "Do you remember when we built that pillow fort?" she whispers softly. Bubbles giggles quietly, her laughter light and warm, almost blending with the hum of the night. "Yes, and Buttercup kept knocking it down on purpose," she says, a soft echo of amusement in her voice. Buttercup lets out a tiny, sleepy laugh, her tough exterior softened by the calm of the evening. "Hey, I was making it more interesting," she murmurs, snuggling slightly into her pillow. Blossom reaches for both her sister's hands, holding them gently in hers. "It's nice, just being together like this," she whispers. Bubbles squeezes Blossom's hand softly, letting herself melt into the warmth. Buttercup drifts her fingers over the blanket, brushing it slowly, feeling the soft, steady presence of her sisters. The three lie quietly, letting the warmth, calm, and gentle closeness fill the room. The air seems heavier with peace, slow with quiet, and every heartbeat echoes softly in the comfort of the room. Bubbles hums a tiny, sleepy tune, her soft voice like a lullaby floating through the blankets. Blossom hums back quietly, letting the melody mingle, soft and slow. Buttercup hums a low, steady note, completing the quiet harmony of the three sisters. Outside, the gentle rustle of leaves brushes against the window, a slow, soft rhythm that matches the girls' breathing. The moonlight dances across the blankets, pooling in soft silver glows that warm the edges of their faces. Blossom imagines floating above a calm pond, the stars reflected in the water like tiny lanterns lighting her way. Bubbles imagines drifting over clouds that glow softly in pastel colors, weightless and gentle. Buttercup imagines a golden meadow, sunlight melting slowly into soft, swaying grass, every breeze brushing gently against her cheeks. Their breaths slow further, deepening with every moment. Every inhale carries warmth. Every exhale releases the last little traces of the day. The girls share a quiet smile, eyes closing slowly. Blossom murmurs, "Even without talking is perfect. Being together." Bubbles nods softly. "Cozy, warm, safe." Buttercup whispers, "Yeah, just us. Nothing else matters." They drift closer together under the blankets, tiny movements smoothing into stillness. The warmth from their bodies mingles, creating a cocoon of soft, quiet comfort. Every giggle, every whisper, every gentle brush of a hand fades into the hush of the night. The room itself seems to settle, holding the girls in a calm embrace. Every object, the pillows, the blankets, the nightlights, even the moonlight participates in the stillness, softening the space into a sanctuary of rest. Blossom lets herself sink fully into the pillow, her mind floating like a feather across soft, starlit skies. Bubbles hugs her octopus and drifts with soft clouds, letting the gentle hum of sleep pull her deeper. Buttercup curls slightly, the blanket warm against her skin, and imagines the golden meadow stretching endlessly, carrying her further into rest. The quiet deepens. The air feels heavy with warmth. The gentle glow of the nightlights flickers softly, like tiny stars winking goodnight. And as the sisters drift fully into dreams, the gentle rhythm of the night, the soft comfort of each other, and the cozy, slow heartbeat of the room carries them deeper and deeper into peaceful, warm, dream-filled sleep, where the softest memories, gentle laughter, and sisterly love continue to float around them, holding them safe, calm, and perfectly still. The night is quiet. The room is warm. The sisters are together, and sleep wraps them in its soft, endless embrace. Blossom rests her head on her pillow, eyelids heavy, feeling the warmth of her sisters close by. Bubbles curl slightly closer, hugging her plush octopus, letting the soft hum of her heartbeat mingle with the room's calm. Buttercup stretches lazily, letting the blanket settle over her, feeling the mattress hold her completely as the day's energy drifts away. The room is alive with quiet warmth. Every sound is soft. The faint rustle of curtains, the gentle tick of the clock, the whisper of the night breeze brushing against the windows. The lavender scent from the sachets drifts slowly, mingling with the faint glow of moonlight and the comfort of shared space. Blossom whispers softly, "Imagine a place, calm and safe, where the air is soft." Bubbles hums lightly, clouds that hug you, warm and gentle. Buttercup murmurs, "Golden meadows, sunlight, slow breeze." The sisters close their eyes fully, letting the images drift like feathers through their minds. Blossom floats over a quiet pond, water rippling softly under a starlit sky. Bubbles drifts over pastel clouds that glow softly in the twilight. Buttercup walks through a golden meadow, the grass bending gently under her steps, each blade brushing her lightly, soothingly. Their breaths deepen, rising and falling in perfect harmony, slow and unhurried. Every heartbeat echoes softly in the calm, every small sigh blending with the gentle rhythm of the night. Tiny giggles from earlier fade into the hush of the room, leaving only the warmth of memory and the soft pulse of love. Blossom reaches for her sister's hands gently, feeling the small, reassuring warmth of their touch. Bubbles closes her eyes fully, letting herself melt into the shared comforts. Buttercup lets the blanket settle over her shoulders, her body heavy and still, safe in the presence of her sisters. Outside, the moon drifts behind a thin veil of clouds, casting a softer, more muted glow into the room. The starlights flicker slowly, winking softly, like tiny guardians keeping watch over the sisters. Blossom imagines floating higher above the soft rooftops of Townsville, the wind gentle against her cheeks. Bubbles floats beside her, weightless, surrounded by glowing clouds. Buttercup drifts through her golden meadow, the sun low, soft, and comforting, carrying her gently toward rest. The room, the sisters, and the night itself seem to breathe as one, a slow, meditative rhythm. Every heartbeat, every inhale, every exhale flows together in a soft, seamless lullaby. Blossom hums lightly, a soft note that drifts into the room. Bubbles joins, adding a delicate, sleepy hum. Buttercup murmurs a low, quiet note, and the three blend into a gentle harmony, soft enough to lull even the faintest of worries away. The sisters' eyelids grow heavier. The blankets rise and fall with every slow breath. Every small movement is gentle, deliberate, and unhurried. Blossom whispers, barely audible, "I feel so safe and so calm." Bubbles murmurs in agreement. "Warm, cozy, happy." Buttercup sighs softly. "Perfect, quiet, us." The warmth of the blankets, the softness of the room, the gentle rhythm of their breathing, all of it carries them slowly, carefully, perfectly into the first waves of deep sleep. The lavender scent curls through the air. The moonlight dances across their blankets, and the night holds them tenderly. Their minds float above clouds, ponds, and meadows, weightless, soft, and safe. Their hearts are full of warmth, love, and the quiet comfort of being together. The sisters drift fully into Dreamland, sharing this soft, cozy space in silence. Every thought, every memory, every laugh dissolves into the calm, leaving only warmth, safety, and love. And as the night deepens, their dreams carry them further into rest. Soft, slow, gentle, and perfectly still. Wrapped in sisterly warmth and the quiet glow of a calm, loving world. The night in the Utonium house grows even quieter. The soft glow from the star-shaped nightlights pools across the blankets, mingling with the pale silver of the moonlight. The air is warm, scented faintly with lavender, carrying the gentle hush of evening through the room. Blossom lies with her eyes closed, letting her mind drift slowly above a still, starlit pond. Oh, the water ripples softly beneath her as if breathing with her, reflecting each star like tiny lanterns that twinkle in time with her heartbeat. Every ripple carries away the last traces of wakefulness, leaving only calm, softness, and rest. Bubbles lies curled into her plush octopus, small hums escaping her lips as she drifts over soft, glowing clouds. They wrap around her like a gentle embrace, lifting her slowly, effortlessly, and securely into the heart of Dreamland. Buttercup lies on her side, blankets tucked warmly around her, imagining a golden meadow stretching endlessly before her. The grass bends softly under her feet. The air carries the scent of sun-warmed flowers, and a gentle breeze brushes her cheeks. Every step in her dream meadow is soft, slow, and comforting, guiding her deeper into rest. The sisters' breathing is synchronized now, slow and even, rising and falling like waves on a calm shore. Every soft sigh, every tiny shift under the blankets, every flutter of an eyelash adds to the quiet rhythm of the room. Blossom reaches slightly toward Bubbles, her fingers brushing hers lightly. Bubbles responds with a soft squeeze, the smallest gesture full of warmth and reassurance. Buttercup curls slightly closer, letting the comfort of her sisters wrap around her like a second blanket. Outside, the night carries a gentle whisper of wind through the trees. It sways leaves slowly, creating a soft, natural lullaby that mingles with the calm rhythm inside the room. Blossom imagines floating higher above Townsville, the soft breeze brushing against her cheeks, carrying the warmth of the lights below. Bubbles drifts beside her, weightless, surrounded by clouds glowing faintly in the moonlight. Buttercup imagines her golden meadow bathed in the softest light, endless and calm. The sisters hum together quietly, 3 soft notes blending into a slow, dreamy lullaby. The sound is barely audible, more a vibration in the air, soothing and warm, carrying their minds deeper into sleep. Blossom whispers softly in her sleep. Soft, warm, safe. Bubbles murmurs, cozy, happy, us. Buttercup sighs lightly, perfect, quiet, together. The evening in Townsville has softened into quiet serenity. The streets are calm, the lights dim, and the gentle hum of the city seems to slow as if it, too, is preparing for rest. Inside the professor's home, a warm glow fills the living room. Soft lamps illuminate the cozy furniture, casting gentle shadows across the walls. The air is rich with the comforting scent of chamomile tea, books, and the faint lavender from sachets Blossom placed earlier. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup move quietly through the rooms, their pajamas soft and comforting against their skin. The girls carry blankets and plush toys, each little step careful and slow, not wanting to disturb the calm of the evening. Time for stories, Blossom whispers softly, her voice barely audible, warm and soothing. Bubbles hums in agreement, cuddling her octopus plush closer. Buttercup stretches lazily, letting the blanket settle comfortably around her shoulders, a small, sleepy smile on her face. The professor sits nearby, his gentle presence calm and steady. A small book rests on his lap, its cover soft blue with silver moons twinkling gently across it. "Shall we begin?" he whispers, his voice low and soothing, carrying the weight of calm through the room. The girls nod slowly, climbing onto the couch with blankets wrapped around them. The cushions are soft, the blankets warm, and the house seems to hold them tenderly. Blossom leans against the pillow, smoothing her bow and adjusting her blanket. Bubbles curls into the corner with her plush, letting herself sink into the warmth. Buttercup stretches across the other side, letting her arms rest comfortably, her body heavy and relaxed. The professor opens the book, the soft rustle of the pages mingling with the gentle hum of the house. His voice begins slowly, deliberately, soft and steady, painting a quiet world of stars, gentle winds, and peaceful forests. Blossom's eyes grow heavier with each passing moment, the warmth of the blanket and the calm rhythm of the story lulling her mind. Bubbles hums softly along, letting the words float through her mind like clouds drifting lazily in the sky. Buttercup closes her eyes halfway, feeling the gentle cadence of the story, the steady glow of the lamps, and the warmth of her sisters beside her. Outside, the moon casts a gentle silver glow across the house. The night seems to slow, every sound softened, every shadow mellowed, creating a perfect cocoon of safety and calm. The girls shift slightly, blankets rising and falling with their slow, steady breaths. The story carries on, words floating like whispers through the room, soft and warm. Every detail, the gentle rustle of leaves, the shimmer of starlight, the soft swish of waves, seems to wrap around them like a comforting hug. Blossom murmurs softly, "It's so quiet, so calm, I feel safe." Bubbles sighs, "Warm, cozy, sleepy." Buttercup stretches a tiny bit. "Yeah, perfect, just right." The professor glances at them, a soft smile tugging at his lips. He doesn't hurry the story. He lets the calm fill the room, slow and steady, carrying the girls gently toward the edge of dreams. The blankets wrap them in warmth. The nightlights flicker slowly. The girls' breathing deepens, even and rhythmic. And in this quiet, cozy home, surrounded by soft blankets, warm lights, and the gentle hum of a bedtime story, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup begin their journey toward peaceful sleep. The living room is filled with a gentle, soft glow. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup lie wrapped in blankets, their bodies sinking slowly into the soft cushion of the couch. The air smells faintly of chamomile tea and lavender, curling lazily through the room, wrapping them in warmth. Blossom rests her head lightly against the pillow, smoothing the fabric of her blanket over her shoulders. Bubbles cuddles her octopus plush, humming softly in rhythm with the slow cadence of the professor's voice. Buttercup stretches comfortably, letting her blanket settle around her, her arms loose at her sides, completely relaxed. The professor reads slowly, deliberately, each word soft and calm. He tells of quiet forests where the trees sway gently, of rivers that shimmer under the moonlight, and of soft winds that carry whispers of calm through the night. The girls close their eyes for a moment, letting the imagery fill their minds. Blossom imagines floating above a gentle river, the water reflecting the stars rippling softly beneath her. Bubbles drifts through a sky of soft, glowing clouds, weightless and serene. Buttercup walks slowly through a golden meadow, the soft breeze brushing against her face, the grass bending gently under her steps. Their breaths grow slower, deeper, synchronized with the gentle rhythm of the story and the calm of the room. The blankets rise and fall softly with each inhale and exhale. Even the faint rustle of the curtains and the hum of the night feel slow, measured, and soothing. Blossom whispers softly, "Everything is so calm, so cozy, safe." Bubbles sighs, "Warm, quiet, perfect." Buttercup murmurs, "Soft, slow, peaceful." The professor glances at the girls, his smile gentle and approving. He doesn't rush. He allows the story, the quiet, and the warmth to carry them naturally toward sleep. The girls shift slightly, pulling their blankets closer, letting the soft weight and warmth settle around them. Bubbles hums a tiny tune along with the story, and her voice soft and sleepy. Blossom adjusts her head on the pillow, letting her body relax fully. Buttercup curls slightly under the blanket, her chest rising and falling with steady, slow breaths. Outside, the moonlight filters through the window, pooling in soft silver patches across the floor and blankets. The night seems to breathe alongside them, slow and steady, wrapping the house in calm. The story continues, painting gentle images of starlit skies, soft winds, and quiet, magical forests. Every word, every pause, every gentle cadence seems to guide the girls closer to the edge of dreams. Blossom murmurs softly, "I can feel myself floating, light and calm." Bubbles sighs, "Soft clouds carrying me, sleepy." Buttercup lets her eyes drift closed fully, peaceful, cozy, us together. The blankets and pillows hold them, warm and soft. The lamps and nightlights cast a gentle glow, steady and comforting. The professor's voice continues, slow and rhythmic, a lullaby of words guiding the girls deeper into calm. And as the house grows quieter, the girls' breathing slows further, their bodies heavy and relaxed. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup begin to drift gently toward sleep, wrapped in warmth, safety, and the cozy, loving calm of their home. The room is quiet, bathed in the gentle amber and silver glow of the lamps and moonlight. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup lie wrapped snugly in blankets, the warmth of the soft cushions and each other holding them gently. Blossom rests her head lightly on the pillow, her eyes half closed, a small, calm smile playing on her lips. Bubbles cuddles her octopus plush tightly, letting her soft hums drift into the still air. Buttercup stretches lazily under her blanket, her arms resting comfortably by her sides, her body heavy and relaxed. The professor continues reading, his voice low, smooth, and even, painting a world of soft rivers, whispering forests, and starlit skies. Each word seems to float lazily into the room, wrapping the girls in warmth and calm. Blossom imagines herself drifting above a quiet river, the water reflecting soft starlight, rippling gently beneath her. Bubbles floats through clouds that glow faintly in the night, soft and weightless, carrying her safely into calm. Buttercup wanders through a golden meadow in her mind, the breeze brushing softly against her cheeks, the grass bending gently beneath her feet. Their breaths grow slower and deeper, matching the soft cadence of the story. The blankets rise and fall with every inhale and exhale, holding them in gentle rhythm. The room itself seems to breathe alongside them, wrapping every sound, shadow, and light in softness. Blossom whispers softly, safe and warm, cozy. Bubbles sighs, soft, calm, sleepy. Buttercup murmurs, perfect, quiet, us together. The sisters shift slightly, letting the warmth of their bodies and blankets overlap. Bubbles hums a tiny, soft melody along with the professor's words, her voice blending with the calm rhythm of the night. Blossom adjusts her pillow gently, sinking fully into its softness. Buttercup lets herself curl a little more under her blanket, completely at ease. Outside, the moonlight pours through the window, pooling across the blankets, the furniture, and the floor in gentle silver patches. The air carries the faint scent of lavender, calm and slow, mingling with the warmth of the room. The professor's story moves slowly, describing peaceful forests where the wind whispers through the trees, rivers that reflect the stars, and skies filled with twinkling lights. Every word carries them further into a state of calm, phasing their minds into soft, gentle images. Blossom closes her eyes fully, letting herself drift, imagining herself floating above the shimmering river. Bubbles hugs her plush tighter, drifting through the glowing clouds in her mind. Buttercup lets her breathing slow even more, walking softly through her golden meadow. The blankets and pillows hold them. The soft glow of the lamps and nightlights wraps them in warmth, and the professor's gentle voice becomes a lullaby. Every detail, the faint rustle of curtains, the soft ticking of the clock, the whisper of the wind blends into a serene, soothing rhythm. And as the girls sink deeper into sleep, their bodies relaxed, their hearts calm, and their minds drifting softly, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup begin to fully enter Dreamland, floating into gentle, safe, and warm dreams. Cradled by the comfort of their home, the love of their family, and the quiet, cozy calm of the night. The night has settled fully over the Utonium home. Soft pools of moonlight spill across the floors and blankets, mingling with the warm glow of the lamps and nightlights. The house breathes gently, every creak, hum, and flicker of light slow and measured, as if joining the rhythm of the girl's own breathing. Blossom lies on the couch, blankets tucked warmly around her, eyes closed, and her body heavy with calm. Bubbles curls beside her, her octopus plush hugged tight, soft hums escaping her lips. Buttercup stretches lightly under her blankets, the weight of the day melting away, leaving only warmth and peace. The professor reads softly, slowly, each word deliberate and soothing. His story flows like a gentle stream, quiet forests where the trees sway with the wind, rivers reflecting the starlight, meadows bathed in the soft glow of moonlight. Blossom imagines floating above the quiet river from the story, the water glimmering beneath her like tiny mirrors of light. Bubbles drifts through clouds that glow softly, weightless and safe, drifting farther into the night sky. Buttercup walks through a golden meadow, the grass bending gently under her feet, a warm breeze brushing against her face. The girl's breathing slows further, rising and falling with a steady, calm rhythm. Every sigh, every tiny shift under the blankets blends seamlessly into the quiet of the house. Even the faint rustle of the curtains and the soft ticking of the clock feel like part of the lullaby, carrying them deeper into sleep. Blossom murmurs softly. Soft, warm, peaceful. Bubbles sighs in agreement. Cozy, calm, sleepy. Buttercup lets out a tiny, sleepy laugh. Perfect, quiet, safe. The blankets wrap them snugly, the nightlights flicker slowly, and a lavender scent drifts lazily through the room. The professor's voice continues, slow and rhythmic, painting gentle, dreamlike imagery in their minds. Blossom imagines herself floating higher, weightless above the starlit river, soft ripples reflecting the stars. Bubbles drifts beside her, carried by glowing clouds, floating effortlessly and calm. Buttercup wanders through her golden meadow, the breeze brushing her face, carrying her deeper into Dreamland. The girl's eyes are fully closed now. Their bodies are heavy and relaxed. Every thought, every sound, every shimmer of light blends into a soft, warm cocoon. Outside, the moon casts a gentle silver glow across Townsville. The night is serene. The house is serene. And inside, the sisters are cradled in warmth, safety, and love. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup sink fully into dreams, floating through starlit rivers, glowing clouds, and golden meadows, weightless, warm, and safe. wrapped in the cozy, gentle calm of their home and the loving presence of their family. All is quiet. All is warm. All is calm. And the girls drift deeper and deeper, fully into sleep, held tenderly by the night, the home, and the gentle rhythm of love. Soft, slow, and completely peaceful. The night deepens in the Utonium home. Soft pools of moonlight mix with the warm glow of the lamps and nightlights, casting gentle silver and amber across the blankets and furniture. The air is still, carrying the faint scent of lavender and chamomile, curling softly around the girls. Blossom lies wrapped in her blanket, eyes closed, her breathing slow and even. Bubbles hugs her octopus plush tightly, tiny hums drifting lazily from her chest. Buttercup stretches slightly under her blankets, letting her body sink fully into the couch cushions, completely relaxed. The professor's voice continues softly from the book he holds, each word deliberate, slow, and soothing. He tells of quiet forests where leaves sway gently, rivers reflecting the stars and meadows bathed in moonlight, every description painting a world of calm and safety. Blossom imagines herself floating above a quiet, shimmering river, ripples glimmering beneath her like tiny lanterns. Bubbles drifts through glowing clouds, soft and weightless, each one carrying her gently across the sky. Buttercup wanders through a golden meadow, the warm breeze brushing her cheeks, the grass bending softly under her feet. Their breaths slow even further, each inhale and exhale deep, steady, and unhurried. The blankets rise and fall gently with every movement, holding them in warmth and comfort. Even the faint ticking of the clock, the rustle of the curtains, and the distant hum of the city feel part of the soft, slow rhythm of the room. Blossom murmurs in her sleep, soft, warm, safe. Bubbles sighs quietly, cozy, calm, happy. Buttercup lets out a tiny, contented breath. Perfect, peaceful, us. The girls drift closer under the blankets, their warmth mingling, their hearts relaxed and steady. The professor glances at them, a soft smile on his lips, knowing the gentle rhythm of the story is carrying them deeper into rest. Blossom floats above her starlit river, feeling weightless and calm. Bubbles drifts through her glowing clouds, each one lifting her effortlessly. Buttercup walks slowly through her golden meadow, the soft breeze and warm earth carrying her gently. The night seems to breathe along with them. Every heartbeat, every sigh, every rustle of blanket and pillow adds to the slow, soothing cadence of calm. The lavender scent drifts lazily through the room, wrapping every corner in softness. The moonlight glides across the beds, pooling over the blankets in silver warmth. The professor's voice becomes almost a lullaby now, each word a gentle nudge toward Dreamland. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup sink further into sleep, their minds floating softly across rivers, clouds, and meadows. Their bodies are heavy and warm, their hearts calm, and their spirits serene. And in this quiet, cozy room, surrounded by soft light, blankets, and the loving presence of their family, the sisters drift fully into peaceful dreams, floating, weightless, safe, and perfectly still, ready to continue into deep, uninterrupted slumber. The night holds the Utonium home in complete stillness. Moonlight spills softly across the blankets, mingling with the warm glow of lamps and nightlights, creating a cocoon of gentle silver and gold. The air is scented faintly with lavender and chamomile, curling slowly around the girls, comforting and calm. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup lie nestled together under their blankets. Blossom rests fully against her pillow, eyes closed, body heavy and relaxed. Bubbles hugs her octopus plush, letting soft hums drift into the quiet room. Buttercup stretches slightly, then settles completely, the warmth of her sisters and blankets wrapping her in serenity. The professor sits quietly nearby, watching with a soft, approving smile. The book lies open on his lap, the story's words flowing gently into the calm air, painting soft, dreamlike imagery. Rivers shimmering under starlight, clouds glowing faintly in the night, meadows bathed in warm, golden light. Blossom imagines herself floating above the quiet river, water reflecting the stars, rippling softly beneath her. Bubbles drifts through glowing clouds, weightless, carried safely and gently by the night. Buttercup wanders through her golden meadow, the soft breeze brushing her face, each step slow and comforting. Their breathing is slow, steady, and deep. Every inhale carries warmth. Every exhale releases the last trace of wakefulness. The blankets rise and fall softly with each breath, the room breathing in gentle rhythm alongside them. Blossom murmurs quietly in her sleep. Safe, warm, calm. Bubbles whispers. Cozy, peaceful, happy. Buttercup sighs softly. Perfect, quiet, together. The sisters drift fully into dreamland now, floating weightlessly across rivers, clouds, and meadows. Every sound, the faint rustle of curtains, the soft ticking of the clock, the gentle hum of the house blend seamlessly into the quiet lullaby of the night. Every glow of the nightlights, every shimmer of moonlight, every warmth of blanket and body adds to the cocoon of safety and comfort. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are completely relaxed. Their hearts are calm, their minds floating softly in dreams, their bodies heavy, warm, and still. The house itself seems to hold them tenderly. Even the faintest sounds outside are softened and slowed, as if the world itself has paused to let them rest. And so the sisters drift deeper and deeper, fully embraced by the night, the warmth of their home, and the quiet love they share. Soft, slow, weightless, floating gently, safe, cozy, completely at peace. All is calm, all is warm, all is serene. And in this perfect stillness, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup sleep, completely, peacefully, and happily, ready to awaken in the morning, refreshed, loved, and full of gentle energy. Good evening, sleepy cuties. Settle in, breathe softly, let your eyelids grow a little heavier. Tonight we're floating to the quiet streets of Townsville, just as the sun begins to set. A warm, dreamy glow settles over the city, and even superheroes are slowing down for the night. The sky above Townsville is brushed gently with soft pink and fading orange. Clouds drift lazily, almost as if they are getting ready to curl up for sleep. Buildings catch the last golden hints of sunlight, casting long, peaceful shadows across the quiet streets. Everything feels calm, unhurried, safe. And in the middle of that soft, glowing sky, three little figures float in the air, drifting slowly, peacefully. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup finishing their patrol as the evening sighs into nighttime. Blossom leads, her pink bow glowing faintly. Her movements are slow and steady, gentle enough to make her sisters relax. Bubbles drifts beside her, her pigtails swaying with every light breeze. Buttercup follows behind, less tough than usual, her eyes softened by the cozy colors of dusk. No rushing. No worry. Just quiet smiles, shared between sisters who know the day is complete. Below them, Townsville winds down like a sleepy friend. Shops switch their signs to closed. Families walk home after dinner, holding hands, speaking softly. A dog curls up on a porch, letting out a single tired bark before settling into dreams. Someone waters a small garden in their yard, humming a lullaby. Sprinklers whisper gently, their soft taps blending perfectly with the quiet evening air. Even the crickets chirp in a softer rhythm. The girls glide lower, drifting over Townsville Park. The lake reflects the colors of the sky. Pink melting into orange, orange fading into gold. Ducks glide across the water, making the tiniest ripples. The grass looks cool and comforting, moving gently like it's breathing. Trees rustle with a sleepy sound, telling one another quiet bedtime stories. The girls land on a soft patch of grass. Bubbles giggles as the grass brushes her legs before she lies back, staring dreamily at the sky. Buttercup leans back on her hands, quietly enjoying the silence. Blossom sits neatly beside them, letting the hush of the evening sink into her shoulders. The sun keeps sliding down, lower and lower, until stars begin to blink awake. Bubbles spots one flickering and whispers, "Look, that one blinked at me." Blossom smiles softly. "It's saying goodnight." Buttercup gives a tiny smirk. "You say that like stars go to sleep." "Maybe they do," Blossom whispers. For a long moment, the sisters sit together in pure stillness, wrapped in the cozy glow around them. No danger, no missions, just softness. After a while, Blossom stretches gently. "Let's head home," she murmurs. Bubbles lets out the tiniest squeaky yawn, so light it almost disappears into the breeze. Buttercup chuckles and nudges her. "You're going to fall asleep right here." Bubbles giggles sleepily. "Maybe." They rise slowly into the night air, letting the cool breeze lift them. Fireflies flicker in the grass below like tiny lanterns waving goodbye. Townsville grows quieter as they fly. Streetlights glow softly. Windows shimmer with warm, safe light. The bakery owner sleepily waves at them from his doorway, and Blossom gives a gentle wave back. The library stands like a peaceful guardian, lights dimmed, holding its stories tightly for the night. Soon the girls reach their home, the warm, welcoming house of Professor Utonium. Its windows shine with soft yellow light, comforting and calm. Bubbles sighs happily. "I love coming home at night." "It feels safe," Blossom adds softly. Buttercup nods once. "It feels nice." They land on the porch, quiet as falling feathers. Blossom turns the doorknob slowly, and warm light spills out, wrapping around them like a cozy blanket. Inside, they're greeted by the scent of the professor's evening tea and the calm hum of their home. The door closes gently behind them, and the first part of their quiet, dreamy night comes to a close. Soon their nighttime routine will begin, full of warmth and soft comfort. The warm glow of the Utonium home wraps around the girls the moment they step inside. The air feels cozy, calm, as if the house itself knows it's time to relax after a long day. A soft smell of chamomile tea lingers in the air, sweet and comforting. The professor lifts his head from the kitchen, smiling softly at his daughters. "Welcome home, girls," he says in a warm, quiet voice that fits the peaceful evening perfectly. Blossom gives him a small, respectful nod. "Everything's peaceful in Townsville tonight." Bubbles giggles sleepily and wraps her arms around the professor's waist. He chuckles gently and strokes her hair, careful not to disturb the sleep calm settling over her. Buttercup closes the door behind them, slower than usual, letting it click softly so the calm of the night remains unbroken. The lights in the house are dimmed, casting warm amber glows across the furniture. No sharp brightness. Nothing startling. Just a gentle softness everywhere. Blossom walks toward the living room first, smoothing the front of her dress habitually, though she moves more slowly than usual. She can feel her mind easing, her thoughts becoming lighter and quieter. Bubbles spins once in the hallway, her pigtails swaying gently. "I like cozy nights," she whispers, as if the house might whisper back. Buttercup lifts an eyebrow at her, but she can't hide the tiny smile tugging at her lips. Yeah, cozy's fine," she murmurs, pretending she's not as relaxed as she truly is. The girls drift into the living room, where soft blankets are folded neatly on the couch. A small lamp glows softly in the corner, its light warm enough to remind them of fireflies they saw earlier in the park. Blossom picks up a blanket and shakes it out gently, letting it fall across the couch. Bubbles hops beside her and snuggles into the corner, pulling part of the blanket over her lap. Buttercup flops down with a quiet sigh, her eyelids fluttering once as if trying to figure out how tired she actually is. The professor enters the room with 3 small, warm mugs in his hands, steaming gently, filled with calming herbal tea. Not too hot, just warm enough to comfort. He smiles softly and hands each girl a mug. Blossom holds hers carefully with both hands, inhaling the warm steam. "Thank you, Professor," she says in a whisper. Bubbles takes a tiny sip and exhales happily. It tastes like cuddles. Buttercup keeps pretending she's not sleepy, but she holds her mug close to her chest, letting the warmth sink into her. The girls sit quietly for a few minutes, sipping slowly, enjoying the peaceful rhythm of the room. Nothing loud, nothing fast. Just the soft clink of mugs and the quiet hum of nighttime settling in. Once they finish, the professor takes the mugs back to the kitchen. His footsteps are slow and gentle, as if he's careful not to disturb the dreamy hush that fills the house. The girls remain on the couch, stretching lazily. Blossom's voice drifts out like a soft breeze. "Maybe we should get into our pajamas before we get too sleepy." Bubbles lifts her hands dramatically. "Carry me," she whispers playfully. Buttercup almost laughs. Almost. She nudges Bubbles lightly. "You can walk, sleepyhead." But Bubbles just giggles and slides off the couch, her legs wobbling like jelly as she pretends she's too drowsy to stand straight. Blossom takes her hand, steadying her with a patient smile. The 3 of them float slowly up the stairs, not flying fast like usual, more like drifting. Each step feels softer than the last. Their bedroom is warm and gentle, lit by tiny nightlights shaped like stars and moons. The glow makes the room feel magical, like Dreamland is already brushing against the edges of their minds. Blossom neatly folds her clothes and slips into soft pink pajamas. The fabric feels warm, like they've already been under the sun. She smooths her bow before placing it gently on her bedside table. Bubbles pulls on her fluffy blue pajamas, the ones with tiny cloud patterns. She spins once, hugging herself. They feel like hugs. Buttercup tugs on her green pajama shirt, stretching her arms. They're cozy, I guess, she mutters, but she can't hide the relaxed slump of her shoulders. The girls take a moment to look at themselves in the mirror, three sisters, warm and sleepy, glowing softly in the dim light. They look peaceful, happy, ready for the quiet night ahead. Blossom brushes her hair, slow and steady. Bubbles hums a tiny tune as she combs hers. Buttercup gives her hair one half-hearted brush and decides that's good enough. Once they're ready, they drift back downstairs, now fully wrapped in their nighttime softness. The professor's waiting with a gentle smile. "You look very cozy," he says. Bubbles nods with a dreamy grin. "We're sleepy superheroes." The professor chuckles and motions to the living room. "Why don't we spend a little quiet time together before bed?" The girls curl back onto the couch, snuggling under blankets. Everything feels even softer now. The air, the pillows, the glow of the lamps. Blossom nestles into one side, Bubbles curls up in the middle, and Buttercup leans back comfortably on the other side. The room feels still, and warm, and safe. The professor sits nearby, his voice calm. "Just relax, girls. Let the night slow you down." The girls breathe softly, sinking deeper into the moment. The quiet settles over the room like a warm blanket. The Utonium home feels even quieter now, as if the walls themselves have settled under a warm blanket of nighttime peace. The air is still, but not empty, filled with the soft hum of comfort that only comes at the end of a long, gentle day. The girls, now dressed in their cozy pajamas, move slowly through the warm glow of the living room. Blossom's pink pajamas match the calm softness of her expression. Bubbles' fluffy blue cloud-patterned pajamas almost look like tiny dreams drifting around her. Buttercup's green pajama set hangs comfortably on her, loose enough that she can tuck her hands inside the sleeves when she gets sleepy, which she does very often, even if she won't admit it. And the lights stay low, not dim enough to make them squint, not bright enough to chase away the softness of the evening. Instead, everything glows like distant fireflies floating through the house. Warm, gentle, safe. The girls settle themselves in the middle of the living room again, naturally drifting back to their familiar cozy spots. Blossom chooses the end of the couch where she can lean her head sideways on the pillow. Bubbles curls up right next to her, tucking her feet under the blanket. Buttercup settles in on the other side, her back sinking slowly into the cushions until she finds the perfect, lazy slouch. The professor watches them with the softest smile. He loves seeing them like this, peaceful, calm, but still so full of warmth. He sits in his chair across from them, folding his hands gently in his lap. "You all did a wonderful job today," he whispers, not wanting to break the hush of the room. "Now it's time to let your minds rest." Bubbles lets out a tiny, breathy sigh, the kind only sleepy children make. She shifts under the blanket, nudging Blossom's arm. "Can we stay like this forever?" she whispers. Blossom answers with a soft smile, stroking Bubbles' hand. "It would be nice, wouldn't it?" Buttercup closes her eyes halfway. "Yeah, peaceful is good," she murmurs. For a few long minutes, no one speaks. Not because they have nothing to say, but because silence feels beautiful. The kind of silence where you feel safe, warm, and understood without words. The house creaks gently like it's exhaling. A quiet night breeze taps lightly against the windows. Far away, a soft owl hoots once, then fades back into the darkness. Blossom shifts her shoulders slowly, relaxing deeper into the couch. "I like nights like this," she says softly. "Nights that feel soft." Buttercup gives the tiniest nod. "Not too loud, not too busy, and not too scary," Bubbles adds with a sleepy giggle. "Nothing scary tonight," Blossom whispers. The girls fall into another long stretch of quiet. Their breathing slowly syncs with the rhythm of the house. Slow, deep, safe. Bubbles pulls the blanket up to her chin, the warmth making her eyelids droop. Blossom tucks the edge of it around her sister, smoothing it gently. Buttercup notices, but pretends she didn't, though. She softly tugs her own side of the blanket higher to cover her feet. The professor stands from his chair and walks quietly into the hallway. The soft sound of his slippers brushing against the floor makes the girls instinctively turn their heads slightly. Not out of worry, just because everything in the house feels connected. He returns with a small basket filled with lavender sachets, tiny pouches the girls made with him last month during a rainy afternoon. He hands one to each girl with a warm smile. "For sweet dreams," he says softly. Bubbles brings hers to her nose. It smells like purple clouds." Blossom lays her lavender pouch gently on her lap. "It smells peaceful." Buttercup holds hers loosely, pretending she doesn't care, but she keeps it close. The girls sink deeper into the couch. Blossom tilts her head until it rests softly against a pillow. Buttercup's legs stretch fully out, toes pointing lazily. Bubbles curls into a tiny ball of warmth and softness, snuggling deeper with each minute that passes. The professor turns down the lights just a little more, letting the room drift into a soft twilight glow. The girls bask in the warmth of the quiet, their breathing slow and steady. Blossom closes her eyes, not fully asleep, but not fully awake either. Bubbles hums a tiny tune under her breath, a lullaby she half remembers from the night before. Buttercup's head tilts slightly, her chin resting against her chest, as her body finally gives in to the calm. Minutes pass like warm honey, slow, smooth, comforting. The professor sits back down, his voice barely above a whisper. "Girls, why don't we take a little walk through the house, just to make sure everything feels right before bedtime?" Blossom opens her eyes halfway. "That sounds nice." Bubbles stretches her arms like a kitten. "A nighttime walk." Buttercup rolls her shoulders. "Fine, as long as it's slow." It is slow, very slow. The girls push themselves gently off the couch, moving like floating feathers. Their slippers make soft whispers against the floor as they walk through the hallway. The house feels different now, darker, quieter, cozier. As they pass each room, they peek inside. The kitchen sits quietly, dishes clean, counters tidy. The aroma of chamomile still lingers in the air like a warm memory. The study lamp glows faintly, lighting a small circle on the professor's desk filled with papers and notes. Even the pages seem to be resting. The bathroom is dim and gentle, its nightlight making tiny shimmers on the tiles. Every room feels warm, safe, ready for the night. Bubbles takes Blossom's hand as they walk, her fingers curling softly. Buttercup follows just a step behind, rubbing one eye with the back of her hand. When they reach the end of the hall, Blossom lets out a slow breath. "I think everything is peaceful," she whispers. "Everything," Bubbles echoes. Buttercup nods once. "Yep, feels good." The girls turn and walk slowly back toward the living room, the the same tiny star-shaped nightlights guiding their way. Their shadows move softly across the walls, small, gentle shapes, drifting like sleepy clouds. When they reach the living room again, the calm feels deeper now, more dreamlike, more comforting. The professor smiles as they return. Good job, girls. Now your hearts can rest easy. Blossom lifts her lavender pouch again, holding it close. Bubbles climbs right back into her blanket nest. Buttercup drops gently into her seat with a soft, content sigh. The night outside grows even quieter, settling into its softest form. The whole house feels wrapped in a warm hush. And as the girls drift deeper into their cozy evening, their dreams begin to peek in from the edges, ready to join them in the next gentle part of their night. The night inside the Utonium home grows even softer, as though the world is gently dimming its lights, whispering to the girls that it's time to drift a little closer to dreams. The warm glow of the living room lamp wraps itself around Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup like a gentle embrace. They're back in their favorite cozy spots, blankets tucked around them, lavender sachets resting nearby. Every tiny movement feels slower now, smoother, like they're floating in a warm, sleepy sea. Blossom sits upright for a moment, trying to keep her posture neat, but even she can feel her body melting into the cushions. Her eyelids flutter softly, opening and closing like delicate petals in a nighttime breeze. She takes a deep breath through her nose, letting the lavender scent settle warmly in her chest. Everything feels peaceful, perfectly peaceful. Bubbles snuggles deeper under the blanket, holding her lavender pouch close to her cheek. She rubs the fabric between her fingers in slow, tiny circles, letting the softness comfort her. She kicks her feet lightly under the blanket, like she's floating in warm clouds. A soft hum escapes her lips, not a full song, just a sleepy breath turned musical. Buttercup pretends she's still fully awake, but the heaviness in her shoulders gives her away. She slouches deeper into the couch until her head rests against the back cushion. Her arms fall loosely at her sides, palms relaxed, fingers curled just a little. Her eyes are half-lidded, her face soft and calm, a rare sight she'd never admit feels nice. The professor watches them for a moment, his expression full of gentle affection. He speaks in a whisper, as though the house is listening too. You girls are doing such a wonderful job relaxing. Bubbles smiles without opening her eyes. It's easy, she whispers. It feels warm. Blossom nods slowly, her voice barely more than a breath. The whole house feels like it's falling asleep with us. Buttercup lets out the tiniest exhale, not annoyed, just tired in a peaceful way. Yeah, everything's soft. The professor stands and walks quietly to the bookshelf. His footsteps make almost no sound, as if he's floating too. He pulls out a small, thin book with a simple cover, soft blue with a silver crescent moon printed on the front. He returns to his chair and settles in. Would you three like a little story before bed, he asks. Bubbles' head pops up just enough to show excitement. A story. Blossom shifts slightly, adjusting her blanket. That sounds nice. Buttercup shrugs with sleep-heavy shoulders, but her eyes glimmer softly. Sure, as long as it's not too long. The professor smiles gently. It'll be just right. He opens the book slowly, letting the soft rustle of pages soothe the room even more. The girls lean in, not with alert curiosity, but with that floaty, dreamy attention that comes right before sleep. His voice begins low and warm. He reads about a peaceful village surrounded by gentle hills, a place where the stars come out early and glow softly like tiny lanterns, where the wind hums quiet lullabies as it drifts through tall grass, where even the moon seems to smile down at the sleepy world. As he reads, the girls sink deeper into the cushions. Blossom's breathing becomes slow and steady. Bubbles nestles her cheek against Blossom's shoulder and blinks very slowly. Buttercup's arms cross loosely over her stomach as she relaxes completely. The professor's voice continues like a soft wave. Up the hills, across the glowing fields, through a cozy little village, guiding them deeper and deeper into calm. After a few gentle pages, he softly closes the book. "Just a short story," he whispered. "Enough to help your minds drift." Blossom opens her eyes just a little, then closes them again. It was perfect. Bubbles whispers, "My thoughts feel fuzzy, like marshmallows." Buttercup mumbles something unintelligible, but she's smiling. The professor stands and places the small book on the table. Then he walks quietly to the thermostat and turns the temperature down just a tiny bit, only enough to make the blankets feel even cozier. He returns to the living room and looks at his girls, wrapped in soft pajamas, blankets, and lavender scent. "You're almost ready for bed," he says softly. "Just let yourselves settle a little more." The girls nod lazily, their bodies clearly sinking into the last stretch of the evening. Blossom lifts her head for a moment. "We should check our room again. Make sure the night lights are on." Her voice drifts off as though she's already halfway to Dreamland. Bubbles yawns a small, squeaky sound that melts into a soft sigh. "I like the little lights, the moon ones." Buttercup rubs her eyes in slow, sleepy circles. "Let's just go slow." And so they do. The girls rise from the couch at a pace that feels like drifting. Soft slippers slide against the floor as they make their way to the stairs. Bubbles reaches out and takes Blossom's hand. Buttercup walks behind them, one hand resting on the railing, her steps quiet and gentle. Up the stairs they go, each step a tiny cloud under their feet. Their bedroom glows softly when they arrive. The star-shaped nightlights blink gently in steady, soothing patterns. The little moon lamp casts a warm crescent glow across the room, making everything look calm and magical. Bubbles looks around with a sleepy smile. It looks like Dreamland already. Blossom nods, smoothing her blanket on the bed. It looks perfect. Buttercup sits on her bed and lets her shoulders slump comfortably. "Yeah, we did good." The girls take slow breaths, letting the soft light and quiet air settle around them like a cocoon. But before they climb into bed, they stand together in the center of the room, blankets draped over their arms, eyes heavy. It's a moment of stillness, a moment where the whole night gathers around them gently. Blossom whispers, "I think we're ready to sleep soon." Bubbles nods slowly. "Really, ready." Buttercup's voice comes out low and warm. "Yeah, almost there." Their breaths synchronize without them trying. Their bodies sway slightly as though nighttime is pulling them closer and closer to rest. And as the quiet deepens around them, the final touches of their bedtime routine, their soft goodnights, and their drift into Dreamland, wait gently in the next part of their sleepy journey. The girls stand quietly in the soft glow of their bedroom, the faint light of the moon lamp brushing their cheeks with warm silver. Everything feels gentle, slower, as if the room itself is breathing with them. Blossom rubs her eyes with the back of her hand, the motion small and warm and slow. Her blanket drapes over her arm, the fabric brushing softly against her pajamas. She lets out a long, quiet exhale, the kind that feels like the last stretch of wakefulness melting away. Bubbles sways on her feet, hugging her blanket like a fluffy friend. She nuzzles her cheek against it and whispers, "It feels so soft tonight, softer than usual." Her voice floats like a feather across the room. Buttercup gives a tiny, tired nod. "Everything feels soft," she murmurs, her eyelids heavy. Even she sounds like she's drifting, almost caught in the tide of sleepiness, pulling all three girls closer. The nightlights blink gently, casting tiny star shapes on the walls. They shift in slow patterns with each tiny movement the girls make, as though the stars themselves are rocking them to sleep. Blossom shifts her weight and takes a small step toward her bed. "Let's finish our bedtime routine," she whispers softly, the words rolling slowly from her lips. Her voice is calm, warm, steady, like she's guiding them through the very last steps before rest. Bubbles nods, her pigtails drooping. "Can we do our stretches?" she asks sleepily. "Just the tiny ones, the relaxing ones." Buttercup gives a small smile, a barely there curl of her lips. "Yeah, the mellow ones." Her shoulders slump as she rolls her neck gently, letting the tension fade. The three girls stand in a loose circle, blankets draped over their arms like gentle capes. They lift their arms slowly, so slowly, stretching toward the ceiling, as though they're reaching for sleepy stars. Their breaths move in perfect sync, long and warm and quiet. Blossom whispers, "In and out, gentle." Bubbles lets out a soft hum as she stretches her back, swaying slightly like a flower in a calm breeze. Buttercup bends forward just a little, her arms falling loosely, her body melting like warm butter into the stretch. "Feels nice," she mumbles. They rise again, their bodies moving in slow motion. Not with energy, but with the peaceful heaviness that comes right before bedtime. When they finish, Blossom drops her arms to her sides with a sleepy sigh. "Okay," she whispers. "Lights, water, blankets, and then we rest." Bubbles tiptoes to her nightstand and picks up her small, pastel-colored cup. She takes a tiny sip of water, barely a mouthful, just enough to refresh her before sleep. She places it down carefully, making no sound at all. Blossom takes her turn next, sipping quietly and wiping her lips with the back of her hand. Buttercup drinks last, taking one soft gulp, then setting the cup down with a gentle tap. "Perfect?" she says, her voice thick with drowsiness. Blossom moves to the light switch and gently taps it, turning off the main ceiling light. The room instantly deepens into a cozy dimness, filled only with the warm glow of the moon lamp and the soft twinkle of the star nightlights. Bubbles' eyes widen slightly, then soften. "It looks like a dream already." Buttercup rubs her arm and murmurs, "Yeah, like we're inside a cloud." Blossom walks to her bed and pulls back the blankets. The fabric falls in slow waves, rustling like a whisper. She climbs in carefully, settling into the fluff beneath her. Her pillow cradles her head, and she lets a long breath escape. Bubbles climbs into her own bed next, bundling herself in her blanket right away. She curls onto her side, hugging a small stuffed animal, a tiny octopus with sleepy embroidered eyes. Her breathing softens immediately, the rise and fall of her chest steady and slow. Buttercup hesitates for just a moment, a tiny flicker of stubbornness, but the soft mattress pulls her in. She sits down, then leans back, then finally stretches her arms over her head as she sinks into the pillow. Her blanket slides over her legs in a warm wave. The room feels full of warmth and quiet comfort. Blossom speaks first, voice soft as twilight. We're almost ready. Just a few more breaths. Bubbles whispers, "Can we do the goodnight thoughts? The calm ones?" Buttercup lifts her blanket just enough to nod. "Yeah, those help." The girls fall into a calm silence. The kind where even the air feels like it's tucking them in. Blossom whispers, "Think of something gentle, something calm, something warm." Bubbles' voice is soft and airy. "I'm thinking about floating clouds, slow ones, fluffy ones." Buttercup murmurs,